heart of Kolkata, in a modest middle-class home, a little girl used to sit with her father in the garden, watching him study plants. She didn't know then that those very plants would one day save millions of lives, and she would be the one to unlock their secrets. Asima Chatterjee was born on 23rd of September 1917 in Kolkata, India. The city was alive with change, yet for women the doors of education remained firmly shut. Her father, Indra Narayan Mukherjee, was a medical doctor, but more than that, he was a man ahead of his time. It was her father's love for botany that first piqued Ashima's interest in medicinal properties of plants. In a world that told girls to stay at home, her father told her, learn, grow. The world needs your mind. Ashima pursued her degree in organic chemistry from the prestigious Scottish Church College, Calcutta. In 1936, she wasn't just studying, she was rewriting the rules of what a woman from Bengal could achieve. She pursued a master's in organic chemistry from the University of Calcutta, graduating in 1938. Her professors, among them the legendary Prafulla Chandra Roy, saw in her a rare, blazing intelligence. And then came the moment that would define history. In 1944, Asima Chatterjee became one of the first women to be conferred a doctorate of science by an Indian university. At that time, when women weren't even expected to finish school, she had earned the highest academic degree in science in the country. Even while completing her doctorate, Ashima didn't wait. While pursuing her doctorate, she joined the women-only Lady Brabourne College to establish and lead its chemistry department. She was building a home for women in science, brick by brick, student by student. Her students remembered her warmth and fire. She would often look at them and say, I wish to work as long as I live. And she meant every word. After her doctorate, the world called. In 1947, Chatterjee moved to the US to undertake postdoctoral research, studying naturally occurring compounds at the University of Wisconsin and Caltech. She then traveled to the University of Zurich, where she immersed herself in the study of biologically active indole alkaloids, a field that would become her life's greatest passion. She returned to India in 1950, continuing her research into biologically active compounds in medicinal plants. India was young and newly independent, and Ashima came back with one burning mission: to use the plants of her own land to heal her own people. Back in Kolkata, Ashima walked into her laboratory and began listening, really listening, to what India's plants were saying. She routinely struggled to secure funding for her work at the University of Calcutta and often poured her own money into her research. She never stopped. The results were extraordinary. She turned her attention to a humble plant, Revolvia serpentina, the Indian snake root. Hidden inside its roots was a compound that could calm the mind and lower the blood pressure. The world would later call it Riserpine, one of the first drugs ever used to treat hypertension and psychiatric illness. Ashima was among the first to systematically study such compounds from Indian plants using modern chemistry. She was proving something radical, that India's ancient herbal wisdom had real measurable and scientific truth. In 1960s, she turned to one of humanity's greatest enemies, cancer. She began studying the Madagascar periwinkle, a small delicate flower. Inside it lay vinca alkaloids, and Ashima discovered something extraordinary. These alkaloids could stop cancer cells from dividing. They froze the cancer cells in its track, preventing the uncontrolled cell duplication that makes cancer so deadly. This discovery became a cornerstone of modern chemotherapy. Drugs derived from the Madagascar periwinkle are still used in cancer treatment around the world, and Asima Chatterjee was one of the early scientists who unlocked this secret. Now came her most celebrated achievements. In 1970, two drugs that the government of India would patent in her name. First, Ayush 56. From the aquatic fern Marsilia minuta, a plant that floated quietly in India's ponds and water bodies, she extracted compounds that could control epilepsy, seizures that had stolen people's lives, jobs, and dignity could now be managed with a plant. with science with Asima. Then, Ayush 64. Malaria was killing hundreds of thousands across India every year. Ashima turned to the blackboard tree and the bitter herb, Swastia shiraita, plants used in Ayurveda for centuries, and transformed them into a modern anti-malarial drug. Two plants, two patents, and millions of lives saved. The world was finally paying attention. In 1961, she received the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award in Chemical Science, becoming the first woman ever to receive it. From 1962 to 1982, she held the Kharia Professorship of Chemistry at the University of Calcutta, one of the most prestigious academic chairs in the country. In 1975, she was conferred the Padma Bhushan and became the first woman scientist to be elected as the General President of the Indian Science Congress Association. And then the Parliament of India itself called on her. She was nominated by the President of India as a member of the Rajya Sabha from 1982 to 1990, where she campaigned better science education and research funding for India's future. Over her lifetime, Ashima published around 400 papers in national and international journals. She also became the chief editor of the 6-volume series, The Treatise of Indian Medicinal Plants, published by CSIR, a feat rarely achieved by women of her era. Her research activities extended over nearly 60 years in medicinal chemistry, alkaloids, coumarines, terpenoids, and mechanistic organic chemistry. She was never just a scientist, she was a teacher, a mentor, a nation builder. Dr. Asima Chatterjee passed away on 22nd November 2006 in Kolkata at the age of 89. But she did not leave quietly. She left behind saved lives, inspired minds, and a trail of light for every woman who dared to dream of a laboratory. In 2017, Google honored her with a special doodle, celebrating her as a pioneer of Indian science whose discovery helped millions. I wish to work as long as I live. She did exactly that. And because of her, India's plants still heal the world today.